If you live in the UK like me, good morning. It's an early one, around 2:40 AM, but that's no excuse. Welcome to a quick breakdown of the final Star Wars Episode 9 trailer. It starts off with Rey on the jungle planet that we saw in the last trailers. It's similar to Endor, but its real name has been leaked to be Ajan Kloss, something like that. Or maybe it is Endor, we don't really know just yet. She drops what looks like to be a training helmet, or perhaps Leia's helmet from Return of the Jedi. I've just checked that, it is not, there was no orange on the side, so it is some sort of training helmet. Potentially, she's still training, or perhaps there's some trouble coming, maybe an alarm at the Resistance base, reports of incoming, although the droid does continue to shoot at her, so I assume it is still an exercise. Poe then says that it's an instinct, a feeling. The Force brought us together, trying to rally the Resistance and inspire them, I guess, as he's obviously taken the leader role. Next, we see Rey jumping around inside a ship of some kind. This can be speculated to be the Death Star. At first I thought it could be a flashback of sorts from when she was on Jakku, searching ships for parts, but she is wearing her whiter clothes rather than her browner, worn down stuff from Episode 7. Finn looks like he is scouting out an area. You can see something in his eyes, possibly a ship, I'm not sure, it's difficult to make out. Again, more of Rey running on this jungle planet until it cuts to a scene of the Resistance with many more than the end of The Last Jedi, so some time has indeed passed. You can see Lando and Poe in the corner, along with C-3PO and Rose, with Poe stating, "We are not alone, good people will fight if we need them." Obviously struggling with numbers still. A shot of Rose, there are two characters behind her who I do not recognise. One I think is Dominic Monaghan's character, and their base is certainly under attack, as everyone is fleeing. Poe is next to, I assume, his ship, with Chewie and Finn, as the Tantive 4 takes off. Rey takes over, saying, "People keep telling me they know who I am, when no one does." Perhaps she's a little more aware of her past than she reveals, or she finds out. She's on top of the Death Star, which is still unclear as to whether it is the first or second. I assume second, as we later get a proper look at the throne room, which we spent time with in the original trilogy. This means they must have gone to the forest moon of Endor. Kylo responds to Rey saying, "I think I do," as he protrudes from the spray of the sea with his lightsaber ignited. We've got a really cool shot of some sort of ice planet, or more accurately an ice droid, some sort of floating ice structure in space, as a bunch of starfighters go towards some sort of city or buildings in the background. And finally we come to the Game of Thrones ripoff. But in my opinion, a lot cooler with the Emperor's potential throne, as he says, "Long have I waited, and now you're coming together, is your undoing." Whilst this occurs, a Star Destroyer emerges from the sea. Supposedly every Star Destroyer the Emperor has had built has been fitted with Death Star technology, as we vaguely saw in the last trailer. They emerge from a planet rumoured to be called Exegol, which is like a dead planet in the unknown regions, which makes sense. Next we get a shot shown yesterday of all the Resistance ships, which actually includes the Ghost. For those of you who don't know, the Ghost is the ship from the series Rebels. The last we see of it is at the end of Return of the Jedi, when they go to find Ezra and Thrawn. Perhaps just a cameo, but maybe we'll see Hera's son piloting it. Again, more shots of Rey and Kylo fighting, and what looks like the front of a Star Destroyer blowing up. You can see Rey, Finn, Poe and C-3PO, I assume Chewie is there as well, heading to the Death Star, so I wonder where they go to leave her alone with Kylo. Then we get a little more of an explanation for C-3PO. As we know, he's been seen with red eyes and Chewie's bowcaster, and no one really knows what's going on. Poe asks him what he's doing, and he replies he's taking one last look at his friends. Perhaps 3PO has a memory they need to reach, or he's getting a little old and battered, perhaps an injury, and needs to be shut down. Once again we have our heroes taking down stormtroopers within their base. Seems they still haven't learned to aim in all these years. Luke then states that confronting fear is the destiny of the Jedi, which he of course eventually did, helping to save the Resistance. You get a quick shot of the new weapon underneath the Star Destroyers, the ones that did all the damage in the last trailer. The Resistance, whilst riding some sort of horse-like alien creatures into battle, are on top of a Star Destroyer, it looks like, with more in the background. You can see Finn leading the charge with some others, including, it seems, Naomi Aki's character. Similar to some of the concept art from Episode 7, Rey and Kylo are in the throne room of the Death Star, but it is not submerged underwater. We see Finn does make it to the Death Star, so maybe the rest of the group split up to search it, and Finn looks quite angry, so I guess he sees Kylo. Within a very modern and clean-like room, both Rey and Kylo destroy what looks like is Vader's helmet. They annoyingly cut it so you can't see the image before it's destroyed. This could be whereby Palpatine has been treated for his injuries. You get a better shot of the Resistance on top of a Star Destroyer. You get a shot of Kylo, and I've just noticed his scar looks gone completely, which is odd. But next, the moment everyone is waiting for, the person who we assume is the Emperor. We see the hood, not the face, but there's tubes coming out of his chair he's in, and also it looks as if it's moving, and add to this, Rey is stepping back as he chuckles. Luke, upon an image of Rey, lightsaber ready, says the Force will be with you, and Leia says, always. So, does Leia become a Force ghost before the final battle? Possibly. Again, there is something in Rey's eyes. It looks like it could just be the lightsaber reflecting off of them, but there's a head-like figure, so to help Rey, perhaps we get a return of some Force ghosts before, after, or even during the final battle. No more hints at Dark Rey, so most people by now expect that to be some sort of vision or dream. Overall, it looks very good. I'm glad nothing too big was spoiled. There wasn't a lot to break down, to be perfectly honest, unless I've missed massive chunks of it. The water and waves around the Death Star is a nice callback and contrast to the Anakin and Obi-Wan battle in Revenge of the Sith. And finally, before I go, if they don't use Duel of the Fates one last time, it doesn't matter how good Episode 9 is, whether it makes up for 8's errors, Star Wars will be dead to me. Jokes aside, thanks so much for watching. See you next time.